Alright, welcome everybody to the Actors Academy. So today I'm going to be answering a question that I got. And I just want to remind you guys, if you have any questions at all ever, just leave them down in any video that you're watching. Leave the comments down there. I read them, so if you leave it, I'll be able to hopefully do a video on it for you. So 2 points that I got asked from this one question. 1, how do I submit for roles? How do I do it? What can I do? Second point was, now, how do I get into an agency? So let's deal with the first one. How do you submit for roles? What you have to do in order to submit for these roles, usually to make it the most easiest on yourself, is you're going to have to be a part of some database that has auditions being held. It'll say, hey, this person is casting for this role, come audition. This person's casting for this role, come audition. And for this one, and for this one. So these databases are some that maybe you've heard of before. One of them is called Actors Access. The next one is Backstage, or you can even use IMDb. These have listings of what is being called for, what they are wanting, people who are casting for projects looking for actors. The one reason though that I do hesitate a little bit is because you and an agent both get different breakdowns, different sides of what's being auditioned for. So say if we had to categorize this into grades. So we'll say, like, if you get to audition and be in a Marvel movie, that's like a grade A. You know, like think of classroom grades. That's an A. That's something that we'd love to be a part of. Then think of something a little bit below that. Maybe you're like, I don't know, a TV show, I'd still maybe put in an A. Be a great opportunity. But say there's some really amazing director who's going to be working on some independent short film. Maybe that'd be a grade B. And then you have a grade C, D, whatever. Agents get access to all of them. All of them. You, though, only get access to, say, F, D, and C. And if you're lucky, though, you'll get a B or an A come up. So that's one of the benefits to having one of these databases, is that if you get lucky, there can be like an open wide casting call and they're looking for the next person to play so-and-so superhero in this movie. Well, that would be a great one for you to submit for. It'd be an amazing one. Sometimes, you know, our agents, they have so many different breakdowns, so many different sides of like, oh, there's this role, and they have tons of clients that it's sometimes easy to just miss something. So if you come across it and you can see, oh, hey, they're looking for this type of person, hey, my agent didn't submit me, let me try and submit myself and see what can come from it. So one of the downsides to this, though, is from the databases, is that you will have to pay for it. So you are going to have some money. And you can go and you can see the prices and see if it's something that you can afford. But again, if you have an agent, that's also going to cost you some money, not because, and remember this, you're never going to pay to be a part of the agency, ever. Ever, ever, ever. If you have an agency and they're saying, hey, yeah, to be a part of our agency, pay us, never pay them. You're never going to pay the agent. You only pay them if you book a role. So if you book a role, yes, then they get a percentage of what you made. That way they have incentive to try and say, hey, if we book this guy, we make money. If we book this person, we make money. So the reason that you will need money if you have an agent is because, well, you're going to have to make sure your headshots are always up to date. That's going to cost you money. You're going to have to make sure that you can go and drive to the audition and drive back home, so you have to have that money. And you have to have, you know, if you're living out here, you have to have, you know, money to live. Pay for your house or your room that you're renting, or pay for food. You have to be able to live. You know, that's why I tell a lot of actors, don't come out here unless you have money and you can be secure, because a lot of people like to be that struggling actor. They say, oh, I get to come out to Hollywood and I can struggle in order to try and become great and make it out here. Which you can. There are some people who have done that. I just say, hey, if you need to take some time, save up your money and come out just 1 year later, maybe you should do that instead, so you're not having to be out here and struggle. Because what happens is when you're out here and you're struggling, sometimes it makes people want to give up acting and never pursue it again. So yes, you could get lucky in that 1 year. That could be the year where you could book something. But it could also be the year that you decide that you don't want to do acting anymore and you hate it. And more often than not, that's the case that you're going to be in. So it's just something that you're going to have to weigh and balance out for your own self. But when it comes to, back to this thing of self-submitting for yourself, you're going to have some money, put yourself on these databases so you can go and audition. Now you can choose if you want to do some of those lower lower roles. So say if it's like a grade D, well, at least you get some footage out of it. That can sometimes be a good thing. Maybe that's what you want to start out with. You can kind of choose your path as an actor, which way you want to go down. Just make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Next, how can you go and now be a part of the agency? So for this one, you're going to have some things too. So to go and be a part of the agency, well, you have to make sure you have your resume and you have to make sure you have your headshots. That's the first thing. You also have to make sure that you don't completely suck at your acting. And I mean really suck. Now, you can say go and be a part of an agency and not be very good. You don't have to be great in order to be a part of any agency. You just have to be good enough. And I say this because I've seen proof of different actors who are not very good, but yet they have agents. I've seen actors who are very, very, very bad, and they definitely don't have any agent at all. So you just have to make sure that you're good enough. You don't have to be the best in the world, but you do have to be good enough. Now, if you are very good, that is in your benefit. That is beneficial to you. And they test it. They try to see how good you are by saying, hey, give us a demo reel of past work that you've done. Or, hey, record yourself doing this scene. They'll email it to you. Or they'll say, hey, come in and read this side with my partner and I. And that's their way of seeing, hey, can you do the work? Are you good enough? And if you aren't good enough right now, that's okay. Just come back a little bit later when you are good enough and submit for them. Now you can choose which agencies you also submit for. You can choose the top 10 agencies, which I've done a video on before and listed them out at the time who was the top 10, and you can go and look at that. Maybe I'll put it down in the description so it'll be easy to go to. Or you can do your own research and find what are the top 20, 30, 40, 50 agencies. And you can submit to all those. So the thing is, if you really, really want an agent, you can decide to go and choose the 400th agency, if you like. There's a ton of agencies. You can choose the really low ones. There's arguments that have been made saying, hey, go for the really low agencies. Hey, go for the really high agencies. I like to go for the high agencies more than a low agency, because in a high agency, they have a little bit more clout behind them. The agency and sometimes even the agent. So it's easier for them to get you into the room because their agency is recognizable, or the agent is very recognizable. But if you come from a very small agency who's kind of just starting out, doesn't really have many clients, and you go with them, yes, they can still submit you. They do get the breakdowns, but they don't really recognize that name to bring you into the room as much. So it's kind of like if you wanted to go and buy a phone. If you want to buy a phone, you probably want to buy a name brand. Yes, maybe there's some other phone called the pineapple phone, and it can do maybe great things, but, and it has the same, yes, great things, same function as the Apple phone, but this phone, you know nothing about it, but you'll go with Apple. You're going to look at an Apple phone, check it out, see if that's what you want to buy, or a Google phone, or a Samsung, because you recognize the name. But a no-name agency, if you don't recognize them, if the casting director is like, I don't recognize this name, they don't hold as much clout. They may still bring you in, it's possible, it's very possible, but you get a better chance if you're a part of an agency that has somewhat of a name behind them. It don't have to be top 10, it can be top 20, top 30, you know, they've seen people come from those agencies, you know, top 30, 40, 50, but if you're like all the way down at like the 400th agency that no one's ever heard about, it's going to be a little bit trickier. So you want to make sure that you can try and apply for one of the better agencies. Now, how do you apply? You go on Google, you search which agency you want, you know, you do the research, find what works best for you. You go, you do the research, you find an agency, and then you see, okay, you go down, you go and look through their, how to get in contact with them, and then they'll have, like, not all of them, but some of them, they'll have, hey, you can come and you can submit right here on the website, or they have an email. Hey, send us your resume, send us your headshot, send us your cover letter, and you can do it through that way. Or what you can do is they'll have an address, and you can literally just do it old school style and mail in your headshot and your resume. So which one do you do? I'd say, hey, definitely do the email one, and hey, if you want, do the one by sending it into the mail. Do both. You know, it will cost you some money because you will have to buy headshots, but if you have the time and the money, do both. It increases your chances of you somehow being seen. If you're not seen at all, then they're not going to choose you. They have to see you some way. So if you can do that, that'll increase your chances a lot. Doing both, sending it through the mail, sending it through email. You know, don't send it maybe every day. You might get annoyed by that. Like, this actor is constantly sending in to us. But every once in a while, maybe you'll check back in with the agency and just send your stuff over. Maybe they don't want you now, but maybe 3 months from now they'll want you. So you just have to do your research, and you have to find which one you're going to go for. Now, if you can, go for the better agency. So, thank you all for watching this. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments section below. To the person who asked this question, I'm sorry, I don't remember your username, but I hope this helped you. Thank you for being a part of the Actors Academy and watching all my videos. For everyone else who's new, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can be up to date with everything. Click that little notification bell. That'll keep you up to date. Like the video if it helped you. Leave a comment below if you guys have any other advice that you'd like to give to some other actor or something that you've tried before. Leave it in the comment section below. And then share this video with anybody else that you think it might help. So I had this actor who, he had this group and he created his own acting troupe kind of thing. He wanted to get better. So I guess what he did is he would take my videos, and they had their own Facebook group, and he would post my videos all across. And it was really able to help them, and now some of them are like booking shows in their own local community, and then some of them are considering coming out to LA to audition and do all that great stuff. So it can really help people if you share it with them and allow them to see the content. So if you think it'll benefit someone, give it to them. If you don't think it will benefit anybody, then don't give it to them. So anyways, thank you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.